Well, thank you to everybody tuning back into another newly listed on the CSE clip. Today, I am talking to Nicholas Konkin. Nicholas is the president of EV Minerals Corporation, obviously listed on the CSE under the symbol EVM. Nicholas, thank you so much for taking the time this morning. How are you?
I'm good, Neil. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. So, Nicholas, I want to jump right into this conversation, but I want to start with a little bit, of a different trend. I want to talk a little bit, or I want to get your insight a little bit about, what's happening in the EV revolution. There's been so much buzz around this segment over the last, let's say, a couple of years, but especially over the last 6 months of 2023. So why don't you give us and our audience a little bit of an insight on some of the trends that you might be seeing and what's driving this revolution?
Yeah. So look, I mean, 2035 and 2050 carbon neutral goals for the basically worldwide have driven this drastic need for critical metals, whether it be lithium, nickel, copper, cobalt, rare earths, you name it. One of the interesting drivers of the market is going to be that countries, alliances, whether it be Canada and the U.S. or Canada on their own, are having to find their own domestic supply and or new supply chains for these types of minerals in order to bring battery production domestically. It's protective for the country to be able to meet their goals, but also for them to understand and to be comfortable with the fact they'll have a stable supply. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 700 new mines are going to be expected between now and 2050 in order to meet these demands. Metals like nickel specifically are going to have a major role in that. There's no matter which way, as of now, at least until new technologies are invented, nickel is going to be a major portion of the EV space, whether it be batteries, whether it be energy storage. The nickel plays a key role. Technology-wise, there's a lot that hasn't been uncovered in nickel batteries yet. The ion batteries and that kind of thing are sort of a dated thing, and there's the expectation that battery makers will start to transition to that. So there's a lot of real big plus signs in my mind for this space, and I really truly believe it's going to carry the commodities market as a whole over the next 15 years.
I agree with you on those points there. Now, let's talk a little bit about EV Minerals Corporation. What is this company about? What's your focus, and how do you fall into this?
Yeah, sure. Look, so, first and foremost, on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank the CSE for, the listing experience. I've intimately worked with the CSE for the majority of my career. So obviously you've got a fan in me, and we've had a great experience so far. And we've enjoyed growing as a company alongside you, who've grown, leaps and bounds. EV Minerals was formed, a group of us were looking out for a way to make an impact in the critical metal space. We specifically wanted to focus in North America. Obviously, Canada was an important jurisdiction. We were able to do some due diligence on quite a few different assets, but what caught our eye about this one was the fact that, one, it's Quebec based, great jurisdiction, very aggressive on their critical metals initiatives. And it had a running start. It was historically drilled by McNickel in the 1980s, had 160 holes, 16,000 meters, and had a historical resource of about 6 million tons at a 0.5 nickel equivalent. So you have a copper cobalt credit there. The really intriguing factor for us was that there was an identified anomaly to the east of the main deposit. And the last hole of their drill program was the best hole of the whole program at almost 1% nickel equivalent. It's a shallow dipping asset directed to the east. It's got open pittable potential. So it checked off a lot of boxes for us. Exploration upside, tonnage that's already existing that we just need to prove up into proper categories, and in a good jurisdiction. So we kind of really were able to hit the nail on the head with that. One of the other things that's exciting for us is that we have the team to put the puck in the net here. I've got a lot of nickel experience on my board and my technical advisors. Dino Totaro is our chairman. He's was one of the longest serving members of the board of Yamana. He's experienced with the capital markets. He's a geo by background. I've got Scott Hand, who's the former chair and CEO of Inco. Peter Ball, who's got nickel experience, very well known and liked on the street. And then I've got a network specialist who specialized in bio heap leach, Dr. Colin Hunter. He's going to add that really added value, especially in the run towards economics at some point down the road. And he's running an initiative right now on several different ways that we could potentially deal with this property when it comes down to making that decision. So historically, it's got a lot going for it, but it also has a team there. And it fits the space domestically. There's a need, and I think Quebec and Ontario specifically are going to play a huge role in driving that.
I want to actually dive back in a little bit on what you mentioned. So for people for our viewers that might not know, why is Canada and specifically Quebec such a great jurisdiction for exploring for these minerals?
Well, so I mean, we're a natural resource country, so right off the bat, Canada checks off that box. Ontario and Quebec have always been very highly rated on varying institutes for mining surveys, specifically Fraser Institute. They've always ranked very well for mining policy, First Nation relations, the support from the government. So there's initiatives from a tax credit point of view. There's the access to flow through. And there's very well known and very well developed nickel assets in both places. So it was obviously our first choice. And there's a low cost aspect to that. The fact that we've got that open pit strategy. The fact that the asset is shallow dipping. We don't. The majority of the historical resources surface to 150 meters. That gives us a ton of advantage from a cash perspective. So, those advantages from a government point of view and a jurisdiction point of view just are a huge sell for us. The nice thing is that I could fly to site in, 6 hours in transit. It's not terribly difficult to get to. There's local towns, there's airports, there's infrastructure, it's easy to get to.
Yeah, that in itself makes a huge difference. Now, you've mentioned, obviously, a stable, strong jurisdiction that's mining friendly. You mentioned your team with its expertise into working with these type of properties and projects. Is there any other factors that kind of make you and your team stand out from some of your peers that might be in this space?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think every asset's going to have its special piece, and ours definitely is the fact that we have some critical mass here. Obviously, there's certain thresholds we'd like to meet, but our team has been successful in many different assets in the past. They're well known on the street, but they combine together, and they all are shareholders in the deal. They're all heavy shareholders in the deal. Out of the 77 million shares we have out, I'm going to say probably in the neighborhood of 50 million is held close by and is not really going anywhere. So they want to see this thing go. And, they're all, some of these guys are, big company guys. They're used to seeing an asset go right to the goal line. So that's our intention. We're going to come out swinging here. Exploration's planned for the end of the summer. Based on results and the ability to start upgrading our historical resource, we're going to swing for the fences, and we're going to be in the market quite a bit.
Any other milestones our viewers can kind of expect and look out for from you and your team?
Yeah, sure. Look, I'm IR focused. My entire career has been capital markets focused, so I'm committed to speaking to the street as often as possible. So you're going to hear a lot from us from a desktop point of view. We've got a full team scouring through all the data and going to be releasing a lot of that with some commentary on what we believe the asset is capable of doing. We'll have a fence drilling program on the anomaly. The nice thing is that when we flew an AirTem survey at the fall last year, similar to VTEM, we were able to discover that there was a third anomaly to the north of the previously identified anomaly. The interpretation suggested that the nickel grade and the conductivity are correlated. And that particular spot on the asset really lit up like a Christmas tree. So we have a lot of really good upside there. So we're going to drill that in the summer. The nice thing is that we're not going to have to drill too deep, and then we'll throw in some confirmation holes. So you're going to see our ability to prove exploration upside. We're going to be able to confirm our historical resource. I'd like to see a tonnage increase at some point, and I'd like to see a grade increase, and that's what we're focused on. And, we've got all the players in hand. The group that's local, that's going to be doing our drilling and our exploration and all of our geos, are all Quebec based. They've walked the ground for 10 to 15 years. They're well acquainted with it. So, we should be ready to rock and roll here.
I love that confidence. Obviously, I would encourage any of our viewers that are interested to go to your website, do their due diligence on the project, read up on the expertise of your team members that you've assembled, but then, of course, to sign up for your upcoming press releases so they can keep up with progress. And obviously, I encourage them to also reach out to you and your team should they have questions. Where can our viewers go to find these resources?
Yeah, sure. Look, so our website is a great spot. On my deck, my number's always there. My email's there. I answer emails personally. I'm always willing to have a conversation. So you can speak directly to the company. We're usually quite open on social media. It's not going to be hard to find us. So any inbound is always welcome. And I encourage that conversation. I like to look at the whites of the eyes of the investors, and I travel quite frequently, so I'm ready to tell the story to whomever, whenever.
Perfect. Well, from myself and our team at the CSE, we wish you and your team nothing but success as you move forward in this space. Obviously, the future is electric, as they say right now. To everybody watching, you've been listening to Nicholas Konkin. He is the president of EV Minerals Corporation, trading on the CSE under the symbol EVM. Nicholas, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you in person soon enough, and obviously hosting you back on our program so you can give us and our audience an update in the coming months.
Sounds great. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
That's good.